Stop missing out on the latest Detroit sports buzz. Check out DSD Sports Chat now, the #1 local Detroit sports podcast highlighting all of your favorite teams. Whether you're repping the Red Wings, cheering for the Tigers, roaring with the Lions, or dunking with the Pistons, we've got you completely covered. Join best friends Derek Parton, Steve Iwinski, and Dan Bartley as they break down the latest games and give their personal takes on everything from the Wolverines to the Spartans. Stay ahead of the game with our own analysis and lively fan banter. This isn't just another sports show, it's your front row seat to the Detroit sports scene. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that follow button on our Facebook page for recent updates, news, and highlights. Be sure to keep a lookout for new episodes that will be dropping soon, so get ready to join the conversation. DSD Sports Chat, Detroit Sports, all in one place. Thanks for your continued support, and we'll catch you later, Detroit fans.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to episode number 3. Well, it's officially, I guess, I don't even know what number episode this would be, Danny and Steve, but this is our third newly rebranded episode of DSD Sports Chat.
First one of the new year, though.
First one of the new year. Happy New Year, of course. Happy 2025. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I know we're only 8 days into the new year, but when we were talking about this, just a few days ago, I know it was kind of a short notice thing, doing our next episode, but it was perfect timing. When we posted the show that we were going to be doing it, we didn't know what the Lions were going to be doing. Obviously, we posted, I think, on Sunday that we were going to be doing the show, and of course, lo and behold, here they are in the divisional round. They get the first NFC bye, and so clearly it was perfect timing to do the show live. So, what's up, boys? How we all doing tonight?
Good. It definitely felt good seeing, I had a good New Year, good Christmas, all that jazz,
Yep.
It's been a whirlwind and just trying to catch up right now. And it was just added. It was like the perfect ending to see those Lions not only win, but win with confidence on Sunday. And I was kind of just sitting there after, I don't know how many points. And I'm like, is this really happening? Like, we're just dominating here. Yeah. And I said, yeah, it is. I woke up and it was not a dream, and we're sitting with a bye, and it's a good start to the new year. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2025. I mean, at work, I'm still writing 2024 on every document.
I know.
So I'm trying to get the hang of everything. And it is. Yeah. It's just like 20. Oh, wait. The 5 there. But I mean 2024 was not like fantastic in like my personal life, so it's good to get that over with, and 2025 is the up and coming year of Detroit sports. That's what I'm going to keep saying. As I said in my post earlier, the power of positivity in Detroit right now. Let's roll.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Yep. I mean, obviously 2024 was a blessed year for me. I mean, I've already kind of gone over that, got married, just a lot of exciting things have been happening, did a lot of traveling, but this is the year of Detroit sports and the resurgence of Detroit sports. The Lions, obviously, they kind of teased us last year with a deep playoff run. The Red Wings coming up just short. The Tigers had a hell of a run there towards the end of 2024. But yeah, this is the year. I feel like you're going to see a lot of expectations skyrocket. The Lions, I mean, we're going to dive into that right away, but obviously the expectations are going to be there for the Lions. It's Super Bowl or bust to a lot of people. And by bust, I don't mean like it's just like the whole entire season was a complete failure, but it's going to be a massive, massive disappointment when you've gone this stage, especially with all the injuries. There was at one point you had 22 players on IR, 16 of them were on the defense. And like Steve said, the confidence, the amount of the gameplay calling of Aaron Glenn on defense in that game, probably the best defensive called game of the entire season.
Yeah, he's pretty much sealed up, most likely a head coaching job.
Yeah, that was his open audition.
Yeah, he kind of showed everyone, hey, let me sit down. He does his classic sit down when his defense is dominating, and it was like, wow, okay, well. And I get, and mind you, he's working with all these injuries. I think there's like 15 injuries on defense alone.
Yeah,
and it's like, he somehow was able to stop the Vikings from scoring a touchdown. The Vikings, which I don't know what they are in offensive rankings, but they got to be up there with Jefferson, Aaron Jones, and
before
Darnell,
that game,
you know,
before that game offensively, they were ranked 6th in the league on total offense. And honestly, to be able to hold them 0 for 3 in the red zone, and also within the 5-yard line, I mean, just and how Amik Robertson showed up in that game, completely guarding Jefferson,
short but mighty.
Short and mighty, and obviously, like he said after the game, you can't bury what's already in the dirt.
What a freaking great quote! What a great quote! And it's one you remember. It's like, wow,
put it on a t-shirt.
Pretty good, actually. You know, I love it. The team is full grit, and mind you, that guy, I think he's 5'9" or 5'10", and Jefferson, who's guarding, is what, 6'2", 6'3".
He's a beast.
Got to be. He's big. He's a big boy, and he held them to what, a couple catches and 40 yards, and it was just good to see. Like it seemed like everything almost like clicked. To be honest, everything was clicking.
It took a while.
And it took a while. And even DJ Reader, the defensive tackle on the Lions, he was saying it just all clicked. It just all came together in that game. And you know what? That bodes well. I know everyone worries about a bye because it's like, oh, bye. But the bye was so critical for us because guess who's coming back after the bye?
Monty,
David
baby.
Montgomery. Yeah.
Sonic and Knuckles reuniting once again.
And we're gonna be full strength pretty much offensively because you had Raymond back and you had Reynolds back and you have all those guys. You know, that's such a huge thing to have on special teams. You know, and having these guys come back healthy, I think it's only gonna light a fire. They're so because they were there last year. So I think this is all like a perfect storm, and we're heading into you know. Who knows what we'll play? We'll kind of go through the scenarios here. So, but for instance, who do you want to play? But finish your thought, Derek.
No, what I was going to say is just like, you know, and going back to your point, see about the bye weeks, is that bye weeks, especially if you look at college football, they did not bode very, very well for all your number 1 seeds. Every single one of them lost. All of them went 0-4. But when it comes to the professional sports of football, and especially the Lions in particular, this is, I think, going to benefit them more than any other team in the playoffs right now because of the fact that they're so banged up. I really know that, and I trust Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson. This coaching staff is going to have this team ready come the divisional round, come hell or high water. Doesn't matter who they face. It's a home playoff game, 65,000+ people sold out at Ford Field. The place is going to be rocking, electric. They're going to come out with everything in the firepower, and they're going to be firing on all cylinders because I really don't see them taking a step back. And we're at home.
So
like
as soon as you step on that field and you hear that crowd, it's almost like if you weren't ready, you're up and you're ready. It's almost like it energizes you. You know, in the crowd you're energized. You know, me and Danny have been to some Tigers playoff games. You can feel the energy. It's intoxicating. 100%. You know, and it's just a different feeling.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah. I'm really, and honestly, when it comes down to the matchups, a lot of things have to happen, you know, for this to be like kind of like a perfect scenario of who certain Lions fans want to face, i.e. Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. But, you know, really, there's not a lot of teams that scare me, especially when it comes to the NFC. I really don't want it, but because we would host them at Ford Field, I'd feel a lot better going to Ford Field instead of going on the road to LA like we had to do last year. But I'm really not afraid. The only team that scare me would be the Eagles in the NFC and the Bills.
Well,
in the AFC.
We wouldn't play them till the next round anyway.
Right.
I don't think there's any chance we play the Eagles in the divisional. It would be the conference championship. We would play the Eagles. So let's not stress about them yet until we need to, because they got a problem of their own. Jalen Hurts is in concussion protocol, but I'm sure he'll play. Blah blah blah. Build up the drama, whatever. But so the Eagles are primed too. They are dangerous. But like you said, we got home field advantage. Oh, how sweet it is. And man, you saw on Sunday that Sunday night how the stadium was rocking, man. You couldn't even think probably down there. It was an amazing atmosphere.
And the home field advantage, the 12th
I can imagine how it was.
Yes. I can. And TV does not do it justice.
In the conference championship game, playing the Eagles. You don't think we can win that game?
I think
it would be a good game, that's for sure. Yeah,
I think honestly, and the thing is, Saquon is that whole entire offense because you're going into that with an unknown. Jalen Hurts, like you said, is hurt. That offensive line is kind of banged up. They're looking weak.
Yeah,
and just don't let them get to the
Hurts
Don't let that team get to the 1 or 2 yard line in your red zone because that's the tush push is still going to be effective even without Hurts in that lineup. I mean, the thing of it is like that's really the Eagles' bread and butter. But on defense, you're still going to be able to put up points against anybody. This is a team that averages 34 points a game. You have the highest ranked offense, 4th highest scoring offense in NFL history. You have to remember that too. I mean, there's really nobody else that I'm fearing the defense is that good, because look at the Vikings. I mean, really all throughout that first half, once we broke out and we were able to have that second half, we held them. I think it was the second or third time in the red zone. That was when we started to kind of readjust our offense a little bit. And we kind of got a lot more confidence building. Goff was looking better. He threw 2 picks, almost threw a pick 6. But I think, in that locker room talk at halftime, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, they got in his head. They told him, like, you better, man up and stop doing this careless shit. And it did. It worked. And that's why I'm really not afraid of any team that we face defensively. Right. I think we could score points on about anybody.
Goff and Dan Campbell have a terrific relationship. And that's so huge when you're running a team and you have your offense and you got Ben Johnson and you have these coordinators that work really well with the head coach. And it just seems like everything's clicking. Like you said, we're making history. And as a classic Lions fan, you're over here looking like, wow, 15-2. This is a history. This is a record.
Yeah. 13 was history.
And we got Gibbs having a legacy game on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And, his jerseys are sold out everywhere. And it's like you're looking around and you're like, is hell freezing over? Are we really going to win the Super Bowl here?
Yeah. You got to keep pinching yourself.
Like, it's like, it just seems like it's kind of in the stars. I know we love saying it's kind of lying in the stars, but it just seems like the team is on. They have the culture perfect. Their chemistry's high. And guess whose isn't? The chemistry with the Eagles is not high. They're not confident in their head coach. And there's been a lot of issues with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. They've been feuding because they're both divas. Yeah. But they do have a beast, like you said, in Saquon Barkley. But the Lions, if on paper, they've been pretty good at stopping the run.
They have. And the pass rushes, that's another thing too.
We have a great team to make a run to the Super Bowl, boys. And it's just kind of surreal. And you're kind of, like I said on Sunday, it's kind of like, am I dreaming? Is it waking up? And no, it's for real. This is for real. And it's just an awesome feeling.
And I'm with Doug on this comment too, is that yes. And when we got to the final 2 or 3 minutes, when the game was already locked up, we were up by 4 scores. Why in the hell were we still keeping the starters in? I really don't know why, because they were out there to, I mean, maybe it was, but it was no need.
I wasn't in love with that either. Yeah.
No, I thought that was a really silly decision with Goff and with Gibbs. Gibbs was still out there powering forward, on the ground game too. And there's 2 minutes left in the game, and we're still got these guys out here. But
Dan Campbell's never been conservative.
No, he's not.
He's just a pump, go, and he like the 49ers game. Did we really need the starters out there?
No,
Campbell.
But he knew. But he already said balls to the wall. I mean. There wasn't much.
And mind you, Derek, remember, you had the bye coming up. So you don't want a player sitting out, and then he's kind of like, okay, he's not in the group. I know it's kind of like tic-tac, what if something happened, then it's all, Campbell leadership is bad. So, but thankfully it worked out. We didn't get unhealthier. We're going to get healthier after the bye. And it's just so fun to see and to hear the news and just to kind of kick back this weekend and kind of see. I guess we can run through, do a little prediction, but we can just sit back and watch the games and not stress about it. For a line, it's an amazing feeling. It's just exciting to see where this team's going to go.
And I'm with Lena on that one too. She is right. That is, Monty has already been confirmed that Dan Campbell said in his press conference yesterday that Monty is expected back. It was great to see Anzalone, obviously with one good arm. It didn't matter. 4 tackles. I mean, the guy was still, that was a spark that we needed. And that's a spark probably we've missed for the last 6 weeks on defense. Yep. And then if they say one player doesn't make a difference, they're hella wrong, because he definitely made a difference.
He's the leader of it though. He calls the plays. He's like a coach out there, Yeah. He may not be the most physical. He may not be the most athletic, but he's a leader. He has gray hair, first off. No.
Pantene Pro V at his finest.
Didn't look too good on Sunday, but hey, it was a workman's hair. It was a
guy's out there. He just showed his
he didn't watch it. That's why.
No, hey.
I mean, he's out there being a dog and eating the dog shit. He's going to work for us. And
Steve
that's the kind of
Twitter
grit.
Post.
That's the kind of guys you love. And it's like, oh, wow. Aaron Glenn was probably so happy. He's like, oh, my God, he's like a second coach out there. He's like, all I got to do, and he can audible this and audible that. And if you watch
he was lounging
play,
on the bench.
And if you watch Anzalone play, he was the coverage he was using, and I think he led tackles too.
I think he did. I think he had 4 or 5 solo tackles and 2 assists. Yeah. It was it was
a difference maker. And
no
he's only
Rusty
get
had to knock
now.
off.
No. It was great to see, and and I know it was a special moment for him too, because he wanted to be out there. He's chomping at the bit,
Yep.
The guy he's a dog, and he's a great leader to have on your defense.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about the Lions playing this weekend. But this weekend, it is wild card weekend, baby, and that's what we are going to dive into right off the rip. So, what I want to look at is this is something that I'm really, really interested in right now, because these are some teams, these matchups are some of these I think you can argue are snoozers, but some of these are going to be like high level, high powered offensive games. So where do we want to start off?
I didn't hear the music.
I sure did. Don't worry. I heard it.
Oh, I didn't.
We're locked in.
Well, it's weird because when I went to go start it, it actually like started. It was like paused, so it didn't really restart. But it is kind of weird. But
okay, well, I'm gonna go. I'll start on the NFC side, I guess. That's the side to know more. I'm going to start with my first game. This is probably one of the games of the week. The Vikings versus the Rams.
Yes.
So the Rams are at home, and the Vikings are reeling right now off that loss, and everyone's kind of like, is Darnell the guy? And you're going up against Stafford, the Super Bowl. And we all know Stafford. I don't know how you not go with the Rams here. The Rams have Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams. Their offense is loaded, and their defense always rises to the occasion. Believe it or not, Sean McVay is more of a defensive coach, and he knows how to run a good defense and get good plays. It doesn't matter who's on the defense. So I got to go the Rams here. What do you guys think?
And I'm going to steal that one too, because honestly, Sean McVay, like you said, defensive-minded coach. If there was one coach that was watching that Lions game on Sunday, it was Sean McVay, because I feel like he saw what Aaron Glenn's schemes were. He's going to alter his defense to do the exact same thing against the Vikings, and they're going to try to fall for it 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, I really got to take the Rams in this one. I think that they're a team that's peaking at the right time, and they are. I think they're slightly favored. I didn't look at the spreads in this one, but because they are the home team, I do like the Rams. I like the Rams in this one, and with the Vikings having to travel on the road. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I think it's going to be kind of borderline score-wise, 24-17. I think it will be a one-possession game. Like you said, Stafford, Nacua, that's going to be a 1-2 punch. I think you're going to see a lot of reps from Nacua. And, of course, getting Cooper Kupp out there in the ozone, I think it's going to be them all the way. So, sorry, Vikings, but I think we wrecked your entire season. Danny?
I really think that's kind of one of those situations where I think they're going to bounce back big. I really think the Vikings you might have woke them up a little bit. I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one, because I really, honestly, in the back of my mind, I don't want to play the Rams. I do not want to play the Rams.
I don't either, but you know what?
So with the Rams
NFL
win,
script writers.
So wait a second. If the Rams win, we would play the Rams.
No, so going back to that, so the Rams would have to win, and also the Commanders would have to beat the Bucs for us to face. I think we would end up facing the Commanders, though.
Well, you play the lowest seed.
Okay.
We would play the lowest seed, and right now Washington's a 6 seed. The Rams are a 4. The Vikings are a 5. So we would. Okay. I think we would face the Commanders.
Okay. So let's kind of shift gears. Okay, Danny's got so it's 2 against 1.
Yep.
Overall, I'd take the points with the Rams. I'll just say that.
All right.
I don't know what the spread is. Does anyone know off the top? I think it's close. It's like 1.5, maybe.
2.5. 2.5 Rams. 2.5 Rams.
Tease it up to 3.5 and take the Rams.
All right. I like it.
So so next would be the Commanders
going on the road against
which I love. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels kind of has taken over, but against the Bucs. Wow, the Bucs are really well coached, and Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind, and he has Mike Evans, who's a Hall of Famer, and Bucky Irving that just came out of nowhere and has run the show. So it's hard to go against the Bucs here. The Commanders, I love the story, and I love the resurgence of the Commanders with Jaden Daniels leading the charge, but their defense is not very good. Their offense is okay when it gets clicking, but is it going to get clicking against the Bucs defense, who actually, they're not the greatest defense, and I know it's, this and that or the other, but the coach, another defensive-minded coach, I really think the Buccaneers take this one. And I think they take it with ease. I take the points with the Buccaneers here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I really like that too. I like home field advantage once again. I love the Cinderella story of the Commanders. I think Jane Daniels, between him and Bo Nix for Rookie of the Year, it's going to be a really, really tight battle. But these are two high-powered offenses, and also this is the same team that the Lions faced in the divisional round last year. And I think they're better. I really think even with Mike Evans back is huge. They don't have Chris Godwin, obviously, but with Mike Evans, you know what you're going to get on offense. The defense, I think, is definitely it's got some holes in it. And I think that Washington can score some points on them. And I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I like 31-27 Buccaneers in this one. I think it's going to be close. I'll take the points in the Bucs in this one. Danny?
There'll be some points.
Yes.
Yeah, there definitely should be some points scored in this one with the two offenses. I would go with the Bucs. It's cool to see Washington back in the playoffs. You know, they're kind of like that team that if the Lions weren't in, I guess you kind of root for them because they're never there anymore. So I'll take the Bucs. I probably am pulling for Washington just because of the fact that they are kind of like that Cinderella team that you kind of root for. But the Bucs are going to take it down.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
and
clean
like
sweep.
Doug Gardner said, I mean, McMillan, he's gone. This guy, he was having a game last week. I'm watching.
Yeah, he was.
I'm like, he's a rookie. And with Chris Godwin going out, it was kind of like a blessing for them. It really opened a door for him, and it seems like Mayfield and him are really clicking. And
don't forget Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving in the backfield.
Having him. It's just been – it's worked, and it's just amazing to see. Not a fan of the Buccaneers, but they got a good team. I got to respect it. But moving on to –
well, wait a minute.
Oh,
I got to hold you there because now if I'm going to go with majority on this one because the majority was the Rams, majority was the Bucs. So if that is the case, if the Rams win, the Bucs win, that means the Lions get the Bucs. I believe the Lions would get the Bucs in the second round.
So okay, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I have to still reread it.
I think you're right. I think. Oh, so
it should be lowest seed.
Well, then it would be the Rams because the Rams are a 4 seed.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Bucs are 3, Rams are 4 because division.
Yeah.
So we would get the Rams. So there you have it. That seems like it could be logistically possible. So
I would take the Rams. Be honest. I'm not too scared of them. But
Doug makes a good point. Unless Green Bay beats the Eagles. Okay, so it does still depend on that third game.
That's true. And then we get Green Bay. But
that's right.
And oh my.
Yeah.
But it does scare me. I know the cheeseheads out there. I don't know if we got any Pack fans out on the airwaves right now, but
they haven't made their presence known yet.
I'm sorry.
We have a lot of friends.
This is not even gonna. They're gonna cover the spread and some. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna play, and I think Saquon Barkley is gonna have a legacy game.
Two touchdowns, 2 or more touchdowns.
At least 2. I'd say Barkley for 2, and I take the points with the Eagles here, guys. I think it's gonna be a slaughter, and because they're in Philly. That crowd is crazy. They're going to be loud. They're a gritty team. With Barkley and with AJ, when everything's clicking with them.
AJ Brown.
I know their defense. I know they got the head case Chauncey Gardner Johnson. We all know him.
Former Lion.
Or whatever his name is these days. But he's he can be a head case. But they have pieces, and they definitely are very. They're going to be a team to beat in the playoffs here, and you got to go Eagles here, right? Come on, guys.
I mean, I like this. I like this matchup. I think that this is going to be kind of a snooze fest in the first half. I think it's going to be both teams find their bearings. The Packers have limped into the playoffs big time. I mean, they've definitely not looked too sharp. Jordan Love is definitely not looked like the Jordan Love that we've seen for the first probably 10, 12 weeks of the season. Obviously had some injuries to deal with. Aaron Jones in the backfield, he's also been pretty banged up, and this defense has given up a lot of points. But, yeah, I mean, again, home field advantage, I really don't see much of an upset other than the Rams in this one. But, yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win this one. I think it's going to be lower. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think 24-13. I think the Packers are going to struggle big time. Yeah, I know Doug's going to go. He's going to go Packers for a third time. That would be kind of crazy. I know the Pack Attack is whack, Jack. Danny, I'm definitely on you on that one. But yeah, what I really would love to see the Packers. I would love it. I'm rooting for the Packers to win.
Right?
I am. Okay, I'm rooting for the Packers because I don't want to see the Eagles in the championship game if they make it that far. But yeah, I really would love to see the Packers.
Oh come on, you want to beat the best.
Bigger bragging rights.
You want to get
bigger bragging rights. Well, the best would be the Bills. That's if you go to the Super Bowl. But we'll get to that here on the AFC side.
That's coming down the road here.
But yeah, I'm going to go Eagles in this one. I think they're favored by 6.5, and I'm going to take the spread, and I think I'll take the points as well. Danny, you as well?
Yep.
Eagles,
okay.
Yeah.
So we covered the NFC. Should we go over to the AFC now and cover that side?
And then we'll build out the brackets as if we were kind of like taking the majority of each team.
All right. So
right.
starting from the top, you know, we got Chargers versus Texans. Texans, you know, they're kind of banged up right now, and Joe Mixon has become a ghost, as Derek, I'm sorry, on his fantasy team. He's had Mixon.
Cost me a championship and a third place.
And it's kind of like, what happened? The guy was like dominant for a little bit there. Is it the line? Is it the offense not being consistent? You know, and there's a few things missing there, and you're not going against Jim Harbaugh in the playoffs. Give me the Chargers. Take the Chargers with the points. You got J.K. Dobbins back. You have Justin Herbert, who is primed, and he's really found some chemistry with his the name's not coming to me right now, with his young wideout. McConkey. Yep. And they've really come together as a team, and defensively they're actually pretty good. So I think the Texans will have a hard time scoring here, and I don't know who's favored here, but I'm going to take the Texans or the Chargers.
I think the Texans are favored.
Okay.
The Texans are favored. This is also 2.5 point spread because of the home. Because of the home team. I think this one's going to be I think this is probably going to be one of your worst matchups of the week, just because of how the Texans have been struggling. They're another team, you know, obviously 9 wins, backdooring themselves into the playoffs as a division winner. You know, I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. I like the Chargers defense. They have the best defense in the league. I think you're going to see Herbert have a pretty good game. I think the Texans is just the Cinderella run that they went on last year. It's going to come up short this time in the playoffs. I'm thinking another low scoring game, 20-17, somewhere around that realm. Very, very defense aspect game. But I think the Chargers on the road are going to take it to the Texans. Danny, what do you think?
It's hard. I know it's kind of a toss-up, and I'm like the final person here. I don't know. I have not done a whole lot of research on this game, I'll be honest, but I'll probably go with Houston just based off of being at home. I feel like
that's fair.
Just have that
they got a good team.
Split advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a good team. Are they great? Probably not. This game is pretty much sets you up to get beat in the next round. But
right. Either way, right.
So I don't really think the team that wins this probably pretty much seals their fate to get beat next round unless a miracle happens. But I mean, you got to think optimistic. So I'll go Houston though with winning at home.
Okay, all right,
that's fair.
That's fair. So next we have a pretty compelling matchup. It's a rivalry. You know, the Tomlin and Harbaugh are gonna go toe to toe. It's gonna be a pretty good game. It could be the game of the week. On the AFC side, the Steelers versus the Ravens. I'm not sure the spread. Derek, maybe help me out. But for this game,
Ravens 5.5.
Ooh, baby. Vegas loves the Ravens, and so do I.
Yeah, they do.
I would take the 5.5 with the Ravens to cover. They are primed. Harbaugh is ready, and the Mike Tomlin's Steelers they've been reeling. They have not looked good.
No.
Russell Wilson looks in shambles, and you know, me and we see the writing on the wall here, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, Steelers have kind of limped into the playoffs the same way the Packers have. They've lost, I think, 4 straight. They've lost 5 out of their last 7 games. And Mike Tomlin, I just feel like that the scheme is kind of just run dry. I think it's a stale scheme on offense. This might be it. I mean, if the Steelers lose this might be Tomlin's job right here. It might be getting the boot. I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's had winning records. They love Tomlin.
He's had winning records. But again, the Steelers are a team. Are they going to be complacent and just be good enough with making the playoffs year after year and getting eliminated in the first round? I don't know.
They would be dumb to fire him. They would be dumb, honestly.
Now there's a big head coaching pool out there, and I think the Steelers are going to be active in that search.
There's a lot of teams looking for head coaches right now.
Mark my words.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Tomlin on. Depending on how big they
chopping
lose.
block. If they how big?
Yeah.
Okay.
How big they lose
if they're
in this game,
close with the spread, you'll respect it, right?
Yeah,
within 7.
If they lose within 7, I think he might be safe. But if they get blown out in this game by 14, 20 points, I think you're going to definitely see the end of Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But I'm going to go. Unfortunately, I'm not going to hate on Mike Tomlin, but just the way it is, this is home field advantage for Baltimore. Obviously, Lamar Jackson having another MVP quality season. Derrick Henry in the backfield. This Baltimore team's dangerous all around, and their defense as well. I think they're going to put it to the Steelers. I'm going to go 31-20 in this one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Baltimore. I would pull for Pittsburgh probably to take this. Oh, you got that, Brian. Thank you. I'll see you
nice
on.
Job, Broker.
I'll see you on Monday, sweetheart.
Hit the lanes, baby.
But Baltimore all the way.
Yeah. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit. Probably
biggest
not
spread
as
of the
good as
playoffs.
Yeah.
Biggest
What's the spread at with the Bills and Denver Broncos?
9.5.
Okay.
Bills.
I think it's going to be. I kind of like the Broncos at +9, or at least 10.5
for a playoff game. Sure.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people might think. I don't think it's going to be a rollover. I think Denver's very well coached. They got Sean Payton there, and they got a great defense. And Bo Nix has really put it together, and they found chemistry with Sutton.
Another Rookie of the Year candidate.
Javonte Williams at running back. They really got a good team there, and their chemistry is pretty high. But the Bills are going to win, so I take the Bills here at least -6, 5.5. You know.
See. With this one, because of the fact that they were a team that did rest their starters, obviously Josh Allen played his one snap to get his streak.
They're going to be rusty to start.
They are going to be a little bit rusty. I think give them until the second quarter, towards the end of the second quarter, first half, to really put the pedal to the metal. But yeah, Bills are going to win this one. I think they're going to put up a pretty decent amount of points. But honestly, I wouldn't look past the Broncos to hold that spread tight. I think 9.5 is a pretty solid spread. I might tease that up there with you, Steve, to 10 or 10.5. But I'm going to go with Bills in this one. I think it's going to be 34-28. I think that the Broncos are still going to score a lot of points, but that environment in Buffalo, especially if it's going to be cold, whipping wind, snow, who knows what we're going to get, but it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be one of the biggest offensive games in the AFC side. But yeah, give me the Bills and the points. Danny,
it's hard not to go with Buffalo.
Bills at home.
I'm not going to say it's going to be a butt kicking, but I think that it's going to definitely be a little bit of at least a 14-point W for the Bills. And they probably end up taking out. I would take out your starters if you're up that high. Yeah. I mean, that's not Dan Campbell's philosophy, but I mean, a lot of teams will take out their starters if one big injury to Josh Allen and your playoff hopes are deflated. So,
yeah, I think it will be a lot lower scoring than people think. Just because I think it will be like you said, Derek, the Bills. Kind of rested their starters. They're going to come out a little slow. Denver's going to come out with a 10-0 lead, and then the Bills.
We might see some garbage points late. We might see garbage points late to run at the score. But yeah, I think, like I said, the first half is going to be kind of a test for the Bills to see, to knock some of that rust off from, the rest of their stars last week. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, if they don't score over 30 in this game, I'd be kind of surprised, even against, the Broncos defense.
What's the point spread over under? Do you know what?
No, I just know that.
Okay.
No, I don't know the point spread. Just the actual game spread. But for 9.5 for that.
I would say it's got to be at least 8 or 9.
Well, that's for the game spread. For the
total points scored.
I would say probably right around 50. I would say it's going to be right around 50, 49 or 50.
That's high. I take under.
Yeah, I would take under 50. That'd be pretty close.
All right, guys. So shifting gears now to the next round NFC divisional matchups. So the Lions would be going up against the Rams in our scenario.
It's so hard for us to do this Matthew because of scenarios.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hypothetically speaking,
this is in a perfect world, hypothetically, compared to our predictions.
I think you guys are probably on the right path here. I think the Rams have a very good shot coming back here to Detroit. They love this. The NFL writers love it. They're they're pushing for it. So. I still think we handle the Rams, not with ease. I don't know what the spread would be, probably around 3. I would take the Lions money line in this, and I would take us beating the Rams.
Yeah, as we get deeper into the playoffs, I mean, I know it's the first.
We're going to be hard
playoff game.
They're going
as we get deeper,
especially that first game. We're rested. You got Montgomery. Whoever's running into our matchup, they know it's like, oh boy, we're at home. Come on.
I think these are two very, very similar scheme teams. I feel like they're game managers too. Sean McVay is a great game manager. Dan Campbell, great game managers. I feel like
I respect them. Yeah.
Whoever has the most time of possession in this game, I think if you have between 4 to 5 minute advantage, that's who's going to win this game, and it will be close. I mean, I think I'm not going to go by a field goal like it was last year, but I mean, you know, and Brian, he might have a point too. The Bucks, honestly, if we face the Bucks, that would be a cause for concern. But for the Rams, if it is this perfect scenario, I still like Detroit over the Rams. I think it's a favorable matchup for our offense and for our defense. If you can bring just a sliver of that defense that Aaron Glenn brought, you know, against the Vikings, I think you're going to hold the Rams at bay. I think you can probably hold them, at least if you can hold them under 20 points, you should be able to win this game. I think it's going to be right around a 6 or 7 point win. If I were to predict it, I would say probably, I don't know, 31-27, 31-28. I mean, it's going to be close, but I mean, I still think though, you know, you still have enough offensive power to hold the Rams at bay. They might get some garbage points late, but at the end of the day, I think
so
you control
good offensively though.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be able to beat the Rams. I mean, and you're a team of destiny. There shouldn't be no issues with beating the Rams, and I don't think there'd be an issue beating the Bucks either, if that would be the case. But
yeah,
they'd be the Lions.
What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I this is the game that kind of scares me the most, honestly. I really think that the writing is kind of on the wall. Matthew Stafford kind of waiting in the wings to kind of knock off the heavily favored Detroit Lions, your former team.
2 years in a row.
Got that chip now.
And everybody in Detroit, and everything was on your shoulders at one time, and you were like a god in Detroit, and now everybody boos you out of basically the stadium.
Tides turned.
Why not go in
hard
there?
To play for.
Go in there. Go in there and have the best game of your life and beat the Lions. It's very, very, it's very storybook ending for the Lions.
Danny, you're always with the realistic
to be that guy. I'm sorry. I don't. It's like a book. Like it's a Lifetime movie. Like the Lions get beat by.
No, it is. It is definitely a storybook.
Written by Kelly Stafford.
Yeah. Oh God, she's still trying to make headlines.
Come on. Like I hate to be that guy, but
all right,
I really do
Danny's
not want to play them.
All right.
Well, so shifting gear. Oh, go ahead.
It would be Bucks going on the road to face the Eagles.
Yes. Yes. So you got the Bucks on the road against Eagles, and I imagine that spread would be paper thin as well. That would be a good matchup. That would be a really good matchup. But it's really hard to go against the Eagles at home. So I would take the Eagles here, especially if Hurts is healthy. But man, the Bucks. It seems like everything is coming together for them, but I'm going to go with the Eagles in this scenario.
Yeah, you know, at this point, you know, I would still like to face the Bucks again. I mean, how ironic! It's same exact path you took last year, facing the Rams, then facing the Bucks.
Yep. Just opposite. Yeah.
This would be This would be in the NFC Championship game. But you know, at this point, I still like the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to be running it deep this year. I think that's another scheme, and I think Baker Mayfield, even though he's got that firepower to throw you 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 touchdowns in a game, that defense of the Bucks, I feel like, is just they're going to get rolled by Saquon and the Eagles. I think the Eagles still having that home field advantage. It's going to be too much for the Bucks to overcome, and I like the matchup offensively more for the Eagles. I think it's going to be kind of middle of the road scoring, maybe like a 27-23 kind of game. But yeah, Eagles at home, I think you can't stop them.
Eagles.
Yeah, they're
the team.
But
it's
don't
need to elaborate any further.
Yeah, no, you really don't. They're gonna have a cupcake with Green Bay, and they're gonna stroll into the divisional and put it to whoever's playing. I think the Buccaneers will keep it close. It's gonna be within 5.5. But I think the Eagles win here. And shifting over to the AFC divisional round now, we have the Chargers versus the Chiefs.
Yep.
Chiefs obviously move on to the next round. The rest will allow it. The scripts will allow it. I'm not really going to say much on that part. I hate the Chiefs.
Well,
it just seems like.
I'll just say this. I'm with Steve. On this one to an extent. But if there was ever a time for the bye week to hinder a team, it would be the Chiefs, because they're technically not on a 2-week bye. They're going to be on a 3-week bye because they rested pretty much everybody but their mama this last weekend's game.
That's true.
So they're going to be almost on 3 weeks rest.
But Patrick Mahomes needs rest. Patrick
Mahomes, that whole team is banged up on the O-line, including Patrick Mahomes. But I think it's going to be this could be one of the most closest games in the playoffs if it is Chiefs and
Chargers.
It'll be a fun one, but I think it's also going to be one 20-17, 20-13. I think it's going to be low scoring. You know, but yeah, the NFL script writers, the referees, those guys in stripes, they're not going to let the Chiefs lose this game. I'm going to take Chiefs.
No, and let's face it, guys. We all want to see Taylor Swift eat a hot dog in the press box.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to go against.
Got to show her 30 times a game.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, on to the more interesting matchup, in my opinion, the Ravens versus Bills.
This is where Lamar Jackson earns his money if he's going to be voted
MVP. This is where the money's earned. This is where the MVP votes are kind of earned.
Do or die.
This is do or die. That spread, I imagine it'd be pretty even. The running backs match up pretty well with James Cook, Derrick Henry. The QBs match up pretty well with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
The wideouts. The wideouts is where I give the Bills the upper hand, especially with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, I don't know what the hell's going on with him right now, but he's having some personal issues. He hasn't been with the team.
Right. I noticed that.
But I give the wide receivers an edge. Zay Flowers, I don't know if he's hurt or going to be back. I'm assuming.
I hope he is.
Yeah.
He killed my fantasy team.
and then you go to tight end and you got Kincaid in versus the Ravens Mark Andrews, you know. So it's in the defenses. The defenses are very comparable. So on paper, this is going to be this is going to be a matchup. But I'm going to roll here with the MVP of the National Football League, Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think that they're going to, once again, for probably, what is it, the third straight year, the Ravens are going to choke before they get into the Super Bowl. Yeah. And it's going to be because
Justin
of the home
Tucker's
field advantage.
Justin Tucker's going to miss a field goal.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Is if it comes down to a field goal, no, he's not. I don't know what he is. Is he dealing with personal issues or what? It ain't age. He's not that old. But he used to be.
He taunted someone, and that's bad juju.
Ever since he taunted back earlier. The Chiefs. It's honestly, he's not been the same, and I think it's going to be some of the same bad luck for them. I think it's going to be decided by a field goal. I'm going to go 23-20 Bills in this one. I think it's going to be, like you said, Steve, evenly matched on the offense, on the defense. Both teams are going to be bringing their pass rush. I think both teams are going to be very, very, very run happy on the ground. Both quarterbacks are going to probably have 50 yards plus on the ground. It's going to be crazy, but I think at the end of the day, I like Bills by a field goal in this one. Danny?
See, I'm gonna go a little opposite of you guys. I'm gonna say a little bit more higher scoring. I think there's gonna be a lot of, I really think it's gonna be a little higher scoring.
As we get deeper in the playoffs,
because honestly, you do have two mobile QBs, so you have the opportunity to make multiple points here.
Yeah,
I agree with Danny, but go ahead,
and that's why Josh Allen's better than Jared Goff. Sorry, sorry. Had to say
no, I'm not taking that away from you at all. I think we talked about this earlier. Josh Allen, to me, is the true legitimate NFL MVP. Jared Goff was the Lions MVP.
Yes.
It's not even close.
Right.
So somebody on X or Twitter, as the kids call it, gave me a hard time when I said Josh Allen's better than Matthew
No one's going to argue with you.
And Jared Goff. Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Don't be a Detroit homer. Jared Goff is going to get a statue and his jersey retired when he retires, but I'm sorry. He's still not the best quarterback in football. Sorry.
And I'm with Brian on this comment. You know, obviously the Ravens do have an awful secondary, but again, it's the playoffs. I feel like everything is going to kind of come to light as we get deeper into the playoffs. Things are going to change.
Here's where I give the edge on coaching. I give it to the Ravens. John McDermott. He's I don't know. I'm not.
He gets a little too aggressive in the wrong times. You know.
Yeah. But so kind of shifting now to the conference championship. I have the Lions versus, in our scenario, the Eagles.
Yep.
Lions at home facing the Eagles. It's going to be a battle. That will be a battle. But I'm going to go Lions here. You know, I'm a little bit of a hometown slappy, but I think we can. We've been very good at stopping the run. I think we can contain the Saquon Barkley. And I think A.J. Brown is very containable, especially if he gets frustrated. He's a head case kind of diva. And their defense isn't that great, you know. So I think we can get up early, and as long as we can contain Barkley, I think we have an opportunity to win that game. What do you think?
I think that's exactly what you said that I'm going to take away from that is that we got to get up early. We got to get up in that game. We got to score. If we win that coin toss, I say you stay on the field and you march down that field and you score a touchdown as early as you possibly can. The Eagles are a team that are not going to be taken lightly, especially on that offensive side. And And this is going to be something that, and the Super Bowl is in your grasp at this point. I don't know. It's not going to be like last year's NFC Championship game where you're going to go up big at halftime and then you're going to blow the lead in the second half. I think it's going to be close all the way through until the final minute of the game. I think that this is going to be decided probably by 3 or 6 points. I think that the Lions are going to come away with this one. Both teams, I think, are going to score a lot of points when it's all said and done. But I'm going to go 34-31 Lions in an absolute game of the year type of a game. I think you're going to see Gibbs and Montgomery go off. I think they're each going to have 2 touchdowns apiece. Let's go.
Oof.
Yeah, I can definitely see this game being a running back specialty with all the running backs that are in this game that are very, very talented. So, the main thing for the Lions, I think, is to not let Barkley beat you. And I think if you can kind of stop him from basically taking extra yards and take him down with the first or second tackle and not letting him get through for a third or fourth extra yard, I think you'll be all right. If he's spreading it out and he's getting 3 or 4 extra yards, it might be a long day. I mean, I think that's predominantly how you probably don't beat the Eagles is if he goes off. But I really do think that you probably are going to win this game.
Well, you got to also worry about not just Barkley. You got to worry about Hurts because, like as Brian says, you got to start Barkley, and you also have to stop Hurts because you have a mobile quarterback, and we've not been able to contain mobile quarterbacks, i.e., Josh Allen.
You can't.
So I mean,
that's the Achilles heel.
So I really think, Barkley's probably going to run 100 yards on you, but that doesn't mean that they win. Look at the Lions. Matthew Stafford threw 5 touchdowns against the Bills. We lost. He also threw 5 interceptions, and we won.
Make Hurts throw.
You have to make him throw.
Tell you what, if we can get 1 or 2 big hits on Hurts, he was already in concussion protocol. He's going to be rattled. We're at home. It's going to be loud. He's not going to be able to think.
Right.
As long as we can contain Barkley, which with Aaron Glenn in this defense lately, it's proven it can stop the run.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident with the Lions. In what world are we? But the Lions going to the Super Bowl somehow. So I think that's going to happen. So shifting gears to the AFC Conference Championship.
Well, I have to hold on real quick. I have to acknowledge our lone cheesehead in the chat here, Stephen Roy. Bates misses the big kick to cost them the conference title. That seems like same old Lions to me. That's a few years back, but I don't think that's going to happen in this scenario.
No way. I think Packers should worry about their own kicker that can barely make field goals.
Yep.
The Stephen Roy, I don't know what's going on over there, but just worry about who you're playing this week.
Exactly.
So in the AFC Conference Championship, we have the KC Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. That's a good matchup too. But I'm going Bills here. Yeah, I'm going to go Bills. I'm going to say they somehow pull it out of their butt, even against the refs. Josh Allen will do Josh Allen things, and he's going to propel his team to a win.
Yeah.
Can go to the Super Bowl. Yep.
Gosh, I mean, everybody I think is pretty much pulling for the Bills. Did you really want to see KC in another Super Bowl? Like, repeat? You got to get real. No. They're definitely a dynasty. You got to give them their credit. They are a fantastic team and a great organization. But
it's coming to an end this year. No.
The Detroit Lions, I think, are pretty much moved into like that America's team cheerleader.
Sweethearts.
Cheering on the Lions. If your team is eliminated and you're going to root for the Lions, I don't see how you're rooting for Kansas City.
I think Lions and Bills have a lot of fan base.
Yeah.
Big national fan base.
I think that's where it would become more divided: Bills versus Lions Super Bowl.
Yes,
but it would amass more viewers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if the script writers had to choose, like you said, Danny, I think Bills win, but Chiefs are going to chief. They could obviously win pretty easily. If everything comes together, they have a Hall of Fame coach and they have Hall of Fame players with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. So they can definitely win somehow. But I feel like destiny kind of says Bills for a change.
I agree with that.
I think their reign is done. I think the Chiefs' reign is done after this.
But by no means is their dynasty done, because I still think this is a team that's built for several more years. I mean, they've lost players over the last few years, and they've still managed to go this far, and they get better by their records. who would have thought they were going to go 15-2? I mean, yeah, that division is obviously weak.
Right.
Not that the Patriots aren't worth a damn, but that's a division that should be won by the Chiefs almost every year. But yeah, the Chiefs, their reign's going to come to an end this year. The Bills, this is the matchup everybody in America, I feel like, or at least the majority of America, if your team is not named the Bills or the Lions, want to see. This is going to be the ratings for the Super Bowl are going to be off the chains. I think it's going to be Bills in this one. I think it's going to be probably another, high scoring game. I think this is two high powered offenses, not so much for the KC side, but I think for the Bills, I think you're going to see somewhere along the lines of, 38-24, 38-27. I think it's going to be more convincing than you think. And I want to see it. And okay. I agree with Ryan, or I agree with Brian in the comments too. Ooh. Yeah, it'd be great for the Chiefs to be the end, but would you want the Lions to end?
Let the Bills put them to bed. Let the Bills.
We beat them last year already.
Bills some respect. Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm saying let them bury them. The Bills deserve that because they have been one-upped on the Chiefs every time in the playoffs. So
and they gave them the teaser this year. Yeah, the teaser was this year. They beat them obviously this year.
It would give an opportunity for the Lions to get revenge.
Yep. That's what everyone wants to see too. Had the Lions won that game against the Bills earlier, I feel like, that matchup is still very sexy on paper, but I feel like at the same time, it wouldn't mean as much to Lions fans to face the Bills in the Super Bowl had they not lost that game. So that's going to be a revenge game on the minds for the Lions and all Lions fans alike.
No, I agree. Danny, what do you think? Yeah.
I like everybody is saying in the chat and pretty much all around social media is no one wants the Chiefs to be there again. But I think if you're Vegas and if you're the odds makers, you're probably going to say Kansas City versus Detroit is probably the matchup that gets you probably the most ratings because let's face it, everybody wants to see the Lions take down the Chiefs. I would say pretty much unless you're from Kansas City. But my gut would tell me Buffalo would be the team that ends Kansas City. So I will take the whole Buffalo-Detroit Super Bowl matchup. Trip to New Orleans. Here we come.
And that'll lead us right into it. Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Buffalo Bills taking on the Detroit Lions, neutral site. Steve, this is what dreams are made out of. This is what you've been waiting for 35 years.
Build up for that Super Bowl. You had the Eagles in that Super Bowl. You think it would be hype? No.
Not as much, no.
Imagine the Lions versus the Bills Super Bowl, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we saw the preview. So
the top two best offenses in the league.
And now you're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. It would be dynamite. And I feel like
you have to say yes.
I hate to say it. Yeah, I hate to say it. But I would. I don't know. I feel like the Lions would somehow lose to the Bills.
Oh, you said it.
Allen Josh Allen cements his status in the NFL football league.
No. This is such an interesting take because
it is.
History
have to be real. You can't be the homer.
You do. I know, but just the realist in me, is trying to say, take the Bills, but team of destiny. Yeah. This is if the scripts are right, which I believe in the NFL scripts. Look at the Chiefs for the last 2 or 3 years. The scripts are real. Check that strip.
Okay, Derek, it's not WWE.
Once the Chiefs are eliminated, screw everybody else. It's the Lions coming out on top because history has shown that if you lose the Super Bowl, it takes you years and years, if not ever, to get back to the Super Bowl to even try to win it. So if you're runner-up, that's almost taking the 0-16 Lions team from 2008 and just basically plastering that all over your TV screen.
It'd be a wild Super Bowl.
It would be, but I'm trying. Away if you lose that game, I would. If you're going to lose, get your ass beat. Don't lose by a field goal. Don't lose by 1 point.
It's gonna be a barn burner.
It will be. It's gonna be somewhere along.
It won't be a bust out open one way or the other for this.
Give me 41-38 Lions. Damn it.
Yeah.
Show me some effing remorse.
Grit.
Yeah, some grit. Show me that grit and show me that revenge. They are going to get revenge on Josh Allen and the Bills. Give me the Lions. First ever Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl or bust for me at this time because honestly, like Dan Kimball said last year, you never know when the hell you're going to make it back to the big dance and win the Super Bowl. You're going to be looking into
coaches here.
You're losing. You're at least going to lose one.
It's like, okay, here's the scenario with Hutchinson maybe coming back. Do you risk it? Do you really want Hutchinson back?
If he's not 100%, no.
Play a 1 or 2 plays.
All in.
No. If
he
you
hasn't really been in game play,
if you are anything less than 100%, unless you feel you can be cleared by your doctors, but if we've already won our games
for a play or two,
maybe throw him in. Yeah, throw a few plays to see how he is. If he's ready to go, if he can suit up, and you can take him off of IR, then that's fine. Have him be on the sideline.
Because that alone buzzes the defense.
The spark, another spark, just like Anzalone.
It's all
just like Anzalone.
And like you said, Derek, it's going to be a barn burner there. I really think the Lions could win. I'm trying to comprehend it. What do you think, Danny?
How are you holding out? How are you going to hold him out if he's playing in the top condition? If he can play in this game, potentially in the Super Bowl, how are you going to sit this guy out and say, no, you're not going to play? If he's playing remotely healthy, you start him. I mean, I feel like he's still at 78%, probably one of the best players in football.
I mean, well, take it this way. He's
already been especially if he's in practicing. Yeah, exactly. If he's practicing with the team that week before the Super Bowl, if you're taking full practices and pads and getting hit, you got to play. You got to play. Yeah. I'm sorry. You play.
He's definitely not. I mean, he's not going to be the Hutch that we saw before he went down. I mean, the guy he still leads the team in sacks.
He's a non-factor, but I'm saying spark energy alone.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. I don't think he's going to make competitive. In like the chat saying, it's a little bit risky. He snapped his freaking leg. So let's be honest.
At his age, that's what I'm saying. Unless he is 100%, I don't want to. Yeah, with Anzalone, broken arm, put a cast on it. Clearly, I mean, that's not like career-ending suicide. But with a guy like who uses his legs 95% of the time he's on the field, literally every play, to come back from that too early, that could be career suicide. So I don't want to see him come back too early. But if he's anything less than 100%, no. But yeah, being on the sideline, even if he's able to be dressed, if he's taking hits in practice, if he's ready to go, sure, you can maybe throw him in for a few plays as that spark. But yeah, I don't want, if we're already kind of bulldozing through opponents and we made it to the Super Bowl, I really don't think Hutch playing at not a high level is going to put us over that hump to win. We're going to win on our own grit, on our own merits of the team that we have on that field, not just having Hutch out there. So I'm okay with him sitting.
All right,
but there you have it. So
there you have it. So
I guess it's one versus two. I guess.
Bills. Yep. It's 1 versus 2.
Yeah, it's because Danny, you took the Bills, right?
Yeah.
That's sad to say, but I'm all in. I'm going to be the homer of it because
Steve pretty much took the Bills too, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I hate to be a homer here. I want to be kind of realistic. The Bills are thirsty as hell too. Guys, they're hungry.
Yeah,
they haven't, so it's going to be a battle, but I would love to see my Lions somehow pull it out their ass for sure.
Yeah,
but should we shift gears a little bit?
Let's shift gears. How about from one hot team to another red hot team? They've won 5 in a row. How about those Detroit Red Wings and Coach Todd McClellan? Danny, I'm going to let you start off with this one because you've definitely been watching this team closely over the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, most definitely have been. I mean, since the coaching change, it seems like a completely different organization, completely different players, or at least style of play. I mean, the players are all still the same. The line juggling seems to be working. You're getting more out of players. It seems like Patrick Kane has found his rhythm. Dylan Larkin's starting to play a little bit more efficiently, taking better shifts, not taking shifts off. Not saying that he was previously, but he seemed like he had some shifts where he just was not enthused. It didn't look like he wanted to be out there. I mean, goaltending is still one of those situations where, okay, you have Talbot and you have Lyon, who is hurt right now, and you just called up Billy Husso about an hour ago. And it's one of those runs right now. It's 5 games. You're fighting for a wild card spot. You can get excited again here. But I'm going to say pump the brakes just a little. The opponents coming up are relatively winnable games. You're not really playing teams that you have in the beginning of the season where you're getting beat pretty heavily. So you should probably win the next couple. And Friday against Chicago, probably should win. I know Derek's going, so they're probably going to automatically lose. Sorry, Derek.
Right.
Yeah. Right, Derek.
But
that's the trend.
It's very, very exciting. It seems like when you go to a game, they lose, Derek. I'm sorry. Maybe you're bad luck.
I think I've lost. Yeah, the last two or three games
exciting.
I've gone to.
Just bet the opposite of what you're thinking.
Right.
It's exciting.
I know.
It's exciting. It's not exactly the brand of hockey that you're used to. The Wings look like they're playing more physical. It's exciting to watch. I mean, the taglines, obviously,
Danny?
just play effing hockey. Let's face it.
Just play effing hockey. Best thing to say to the Wings. Yep.
Yeah. Who would have thought a leadership change?
Man,
finish your thought. Yeah.
Go ahead, Danny. I just noticed that. Yeah, how about that, Matt Roy?
NHL game for probably the best team in the NHL right now, the Caps. Surprising Capitals. Team in the NHL. I would say, I'll be honest, I did not see the Capitals being probably one of the best teams in hockey this year. I did see them being a lot better than they were last year.
From being where they were last year, just make it in.
I mean, they just limped their way in, but they're clicking.
Ovechkin's healthy
on all cylinders, but now he's healthy. Healthy. But
that's
for now. Back to the Wings for a second.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm excited again. This season has been like really, really difficult to watch, and it seemed like Lalonde was just kind of like eggshells every game. Eggshells. You're just waiting to get canned, and it seems like it wasn't going to happen. And I think we talked in the group chat about every day, like, is this his last day? Is he finally going to get let go? And then he finally does, and it's like, okay. Who are you going to bring in? And like, I did not see Todd McLellan coaching the Wings. I was like, okay. I think, Derek, you had the thought of like, oh, another Babcock guy, because he was with Babcock when the Wings.
He was part of that regime, yeah.
So
and he had some success.
Yeah, I remember him now.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and then he obviously went to San Jose and Edmonton, and he had some decent seasons, coached some really good teams, didn't quite make it over that hurdle, but I mean, with the right amount of guys surrounding him, I think that he could make some noise. It might not be this season, but man, it is clearly a much different locker room right now with his voice. He's getting the most out of his players, and that's all you can really want. I'm not saying playoffs are bust right now. I know at the beginning of the season after last year, we were all saying, oh, playoffs are bust, but I mean, it's just exciting to be competitive and uplifting, and you can see guys are having fun again on the ice.
And going back to the spark that I think McLellan's really instilled upon this team is that, and just shooting the puck more is really what I've wanted to see. That was the one thing that pissed me off about Lalonde, is that we were getting outshot pretty much every game. I think we only outshot our opponents 3 times under Lalonde. And we've literally either outshot our opponents or the same amount of shots have been faced all 6 games that Tom McLellan has coached this team. I know it's a small sample size, but right there, having guys out there that are actually firing the net, attacking the net, the forecheck has improved. Guys just seem inspired on the ice. They are, dare I say, playing with that G word, more grit. And they're not getting as physical as I think that I really would like to see them play. But for the same token, it doesn't matter, because even our goaltending stepping up, our defense has been good. Our power play has been among the top 3 power plays since McLellan took over. I think we've got like 6 or 7 power play goals in the 6 games that he's been, head coach. So it's a complete 180. It's a shame that the Red Wings did dig themselves into such a deep hole. The first, obviously the first half of the season, we're almost at the All-Star break. But at this point, you're only 2 points out of a wild card spot. There are a few teams that are ahead of you in the division that obviously have a couple games in hand on you. I don't know if you're going to be catching teams like Tampa Bay or, to battle for that 3rd spot in the division, but you're still only, I think, 5 points out of 3rd spot. So it's going to be a very interesting second half of the season. I think the Wings are still, believe it or not, even though they had a shitty start to the season, they have only 2 points less than they did at this point last year when they were tied for the last spot in the playoffs. So it's really how you finish. It's not always about how you start, it's how you finish.
Yep.
And you still got, over
true.
35 games. Yeah. You have over 35 games to play to make noise. And I think you could climb up in the rankings and you can still make the playoffs. If you were to ask me right now, are they a playoff team? I think so. If you were to ask me this in a couple more months, I guess we'll have to see the trends. I think it's sustainable what they're doing.
They would be.
Yeah. They're playing how we thought.
They're kind of waking up. But do you really think, if they still had Derek Lalonde, do you think they would have this resurgence right now? You think they would be kind of treading water a little bit, right?
Oh, this team
this is all a factor of the leadership change and seeing Todd come in and kind of just say, play fuck effing hockey. He's just laid it all out there. And he's kind of the guy that kind of takes on the Detroit sports mentality of that grit, type of leadership you like to see, and the boys respect that, and it just seems like everyone's playing a lot harder. There's more passion, more energy. Like Danny said, it's a whole nother team than we saw a month ago. So it's hard not to get excited, about the Wings. We've been so desperate for a good, solid winning team to kind of go a little bit farther in the playoffs. So I know the defense might need a little help, but I don't know if we can make a trade. I don't know what you guys think we could do or how we stand. I'll kind of put in your court here. Do you think where we stand right now, we would bode well in the playoffs, or do you think we got to make a move to maybe to make us a contender?
Yeah, I'll touch on a few things. Well, the defense, it seems like that's kind of the Wings' Achilles right now. Unfortunately, you have a lot of guys who are kind of there and they kind of just take up a spot, because you have a guy who just absolutely killed it in the World Juniors who is going to stay overseas, unfortunately, and that's Axine Sandin-Pellikka. But his time's coming, and he's probably the best defenseman on your team actually right now, but he's not actually on your team. As crazy as that just sounded. Guy's gonna be a heck of a talent. Yeah. I watched the World Juniors and he looks fantastic. I mean, yes, he's playing against, I guess people call it kids, but I mean, he's playing in a men's league overseas. So I take that just like Seider did. And look, Seider is a very good defenseman. Is he great? No, but he's very good. What I like most about what McClellan's done right now is the defense is going to be a struggle all year. I think we can kind of basically admit that. Unfortunately, that's just going to be how it is, because that's the team that basically Eisman put you with, basically, on paper. But what he's doing is he's taking Seider and Edvinsson and splitting them up. So essentially, you're getting 25 minutes with Seider, and you're also getting 25 minutes with Edvinsson to go against teams' top lines. So you're basically spreading them out, so that way you're kind of not keeping them together. So that way one of the two of them is always basically on the ice, which I really do like, because those are the two guys that are your best pairing, but you don't want to pair them up, because then essentially you're going to have Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie together, which is just a crap load of turnovers and mistakes left and right. So it's you essentially put, one. Yeah. So unfortunately, you're not going to see the two pairing that you want of them two. What I want to touch on, as you said, Steve, is trades. I know Buffalo and Detroit are talking right now. Elliot Friedman, who is a hockey guru, I guess you could say, said there's a lot of scouts with both. The Wings are looking at Dylan Cousins, who is not a defenseman. He's a very talented player. I think that as far as Buffalo is going to want for something like that, I think the Wings are probably trying to push Joe Veleno out the door, or maybe JT Comper out the door. Why do you put Joe Veleno on the first line? Trying to showcase him to other teams.
Right.
I feel you put him with Dylan Larkin. You're trying to showcase him. You're trying to see. Yeah. Okay.
Right. You want to make him.
Let's make you look a little bit better. I'm sorry.
It's not pairing.
No disrespect to Joe Veleno in any way, but he's not a top line player.
That's not even something that Lalone would do.
Try to see if you can get another team to bite. I mean, it's smart hockey. It's smart. It's Eisman in his ear saying basically, hey, you're going to put him on the top line and see what happens, because we're trying to trade him. But that's just my thought. It's probably not accurate. It's my perspective. So don't go in and put it on social media. But if you're going to make a trade, I really think you're going to probably need another forward, a power forward. I would see if Chicago, who's coming in here, would maybe give up Patrick Maroon. I know he's not on everybody's friend list right now, because he's kind of that rough and rugged style. But if you're going to make a playoff push and you're going to be in it, I mean, he's the guy that's a little bit of the sandpaper, as everybody likes to say around here, grit. And the Red Wings could use a little bit of that. I mean, you have like a fourth line that's ever revolving of healthy scratches and in and out, like the Christian Fishers and the Tyler Motts. And either one of them really seems to be that efficient at what they do. Like, they're not really great at anything. They're just kind of there, and they rotate in and out. So why not go and get a piece that can at least drop the gloves, add a spark, stand in front of the net, in the power play, create some screens or deflections or something positive. So I would look at that. if they're willing to wheel and deal. I mean, I would love another defenseman, but that's the thing is Yzerman's very hesitant to trade anything away of his assets. So,
well, and especially now that you've made this coaching change, it's almost like you kind of let it ride with what you have at the time being. I mean, we still got a good month and a half. I think March 7th is the trade deadline. So, I mean, a lot can happen between now and then. And I think a lot of it really is going to show, is this team still in the playoff contention? Because if you're still in playoff contention, if you have a good solid stranglehold on that wild card spot, I think you're going to be slight buyers. I don't think you're definitely not going to sell. If you don't stay pat, you're going to be slight buyers. So, I mean, I would love to see moves made, and I really would mind seeing it on the defensive side. I mean, I think that, but also between now and March to see how the turnovers are, how the penalty killing is. Like, I think the defense has already been miles better in these last 6 games under McClellan than it ever was under Lalonde. So, as of right now, I mean, it really does depend on what our record shows, what where we are in the standings. But I mean, I think if you are in that playoff race wholeheartedly, why wouldn't you try to make a move, at least to make yourself better on offense? But I know currently right now you do have some injuries.
Always says though, you know what the Yzerman's exactly going to say. He's not going to trade assets to acquire a guy that's not going to be here long term. So
the Yzer
man,
don't do term contract.
Yzerman looks pretty smart right now, though.
Yeah,
we finally shouted enough he could hear us, about firing Derek.
Shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, it's kind of worked out a little bit, and he's feeling a little less pressure. The guys are kind of having more chemistry on the lines, and you see the more of the energy and the passion. So, yeah, like you guys said, there's still moves that you should probably make or need to make to go even a little bit farther in the playoffs. Right now, maybe they make it. I don't know how far they would go realistically, because they're not exactly designed for a long playoff run with the goaltending situation and the defense. I think we need to get more, like Danny said, I would love a gritty player. We lack a good hard-nosed player that sticks up for their teammates and actually is contributor to the team. So there's a few pieces that we can make to improve ourselves. I don't know what they'll do it, the Izzy plan, trusting the Yzerman plan. But at the end of the day, the real debate, like Broker said, who's the better team in town right now? The Pistons or the Wings?
Both have the exact same record.
Yeah.
Both have 18 wins. They're both 500.
Man. They've really come on here. The Pistons all of a sudden come out.
Pistons are in playoff contention. They held that 7th seed.
Right. With the new coaching staff, I think they've really clicked with, I overused word here of the day, gritty, coach in Buckerstaff. And I think, he's really guided that team, and with Cade. And didn't a player just go down, though, for them?
Yeah, Jaden Ivey.
A rough injury. Right? Yeah.
So
that's a tough injury. Very tough injury, because he's a high scoring guy for them, and
he's out for the season pretty much, 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. So, but they just seem to be playing with more passion as well, and it's just fun to see. Like we were talking at the beginning of the show with the Detroit resurgence, it's just been fun to watch. So it's hard to say one team is better than another. I guess just have fun with it. Have fun with the ride, and maybe they can take us somewhere. And I guess the real games start at the end of the season and in the playoffs, and that's where the real fun begins. And I just hope they keep it up.
Yeah, and don't look now, but the Pistons are actually up 80-66 against the Nets right now on the road. But the Nets are pretty awful. They're 13-23. Wow. So it's a game that they should have won. But
it's a different team than last year.
It is. So. It's very different. And honestly,
they're great.
You finally got guys that are actually complimenting Cade. I mean, you got guys like Jalen Duren, who's been good. Tim Hardaway Jr. What a pickup that was. Ron Harper, these guys have really been doing good. Asur Thompson, these are guys that they've picked up that have really started complimenting, Cade well. Even though Cade's going out there and scoring 20 points a game or even more than that, he's still been able to, be able to compliment on the bench too. The bench players have actually been doing a really, really good job. So, yeah, I mean, right now, if you were to, ask me who the better team was, I would have to go with the Pistons as of right now, just because of the entire season, because the Red Wings lackluster start, they're starting to show signs of life, obviously the last 5 or 6 games in a row. But when you look at the entire season up until this point, almost 40 games in, you got to give the nod to the Pistons. I think the Pistons, they had 13 wins all of last season. They're at 18 right now, almost 19 wins. So. Yeah, the Pistons, I think, are a team that's definitely playoff bound, and if they don't get that 6th seed, obviously 7, 8, 9, and 10 get to play in those playing games at the end of the season to get the final 2 spots. And I think that the Pistons are in the catbird seat to get one of the last 2 playoff spots.
I mean, that's the thing in basketball and in hockey. I feel like the playoffs are so attainable. It's so easy probably to make even if you're just like a mediocre team, it's so easy to make the playoffs. I mean, you might not go far, but you're going to limp your way in. So, I mean, I feel like it's just the 2 easiest sports to basically make it.
Yeah, right. A lot of NBA teams make it, but here's the fun part. Once you get into the playoffs, this is exciting. The Pistons are back.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been? So we've been so thirsty for an NBA team, with the 04, Pistons team, that kind of take on that persona and really come into Detroit and own it. And I really think the leadership mattered here, and I think it's shown. The team's really gelled, and the chemistry's really high, and they've done well. They've been winning games they should, and they've been winning or keeping close with games, that they should be. So with the Wings, they have come on here of late, winning 5 of their last 8 or 7.
They've won 5 in a row. Yep.
Yeah. So they've been pretty good. It's hard to really say one or the other, But if I had to go with one, I'd say more of the Pistons,
from a consistent long-term level, I think the Pistons,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, like, Doug spoke on it, and so is Brian, is that, we have the cap space to make moves. And I think at the deadline, when the trade deadline comes, just like the Red Wings, if they are solidly in playoff contention, which they are right now, they have a half game up right now, I think, on the 8th spot. I think you're going to see this Pistons team actually be buyers at the deadline. I think they have the move. They're going to be making some moves, and I don't see why this team can't be 4 or 5 games over 500 come the trade deadline. And I think they're going to be battling right up there with that 5, 6, 7 seed in the playoffs, and maybe they won't have to do that play-in game. That'd be great. That'd be ideal. You get locked into the playoffs automatically. So I'm actually excited. I've been catching more Pistons games, highlights, and I actually give a damn to talk about them now. And I'm actually doing my research to try to make this into more of a Pistons talk as well.
It's kind of been dead to us, We've just been, they just been there, and now you kind of have to tune in a little bit when you're hearing, oh, wow, they've been on a win streak, or, they're right on the cusp of the playoffs here. And you're in tune more. And it is a fun team to watch. It is a fun young team. And I will have to sit down, sometimes we do go to a Pistons game every now and then, and maybe it might be a good time to go to a Pistons game because they've been so hot.
It might be.
It's fun. It's fun right now. Even
get them while the prices are cheap.
Right.
Same with the Wings.
I think it's a good time down there at any a Pistons or Wings game. It's just fun to see. So
man, Wings tickets are not cheap still. I look for Friday. No, they're still not cheap.
I bet they're kind of
Wings tickets are still they're top tier basketball. You can usually get $20 less than a Red Wing ticket. But Pistons game, I wouldn't mind going back.
Pistons game,
they're playing to that caliber that you actually want to go see them play and spend your money on them. Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Danny's just chomping at the bit to talk about the Tigers. So why don't we go ahead and transition as the Pistons continue their winning ways, and same with the Wings. How about these Tigers? The off season that has been somewhat quiet, but obviously the sign of Gleyber Torres, you kind of feel somewhat of a void there, but you still don't have a full-time third baseman. Danny, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Or do you? I think
or do we? Wait a minute.
Take the whole you're going to take the whole Pizza Boys idea of just rolling with the dice because the Tigers made a good run last year with the team that they had on paper. So we're going to continuously pray and eat our vegetables and take our vitamins and hope and pray that the Tigers can pull off another miracle. And we're not, and we're too cheap to give Bregman any money, even though, let's face it, deep down he wants to come here and be with AJ Hinch again. Because how are you realistically going to go to Toronto? I just read a report where Toronto is extremely interested in bringing him to Toronto. Do you really think he wants to go to Toronto? I mean, batting behind Vlad Guerrero sounds like a awesome idea every game. But realistically, do you really want to play baseball over there? No disrespect to Canada. I mean, if you're a hockey team, of course, you'd want to go to Toronto Maple Leafs. But as far as baseball, do you really want to go play for the Toronto Blue Jays? I really just don't see that being a hotbed for free agents. But anyway, I'll digress on that. And this is what I really want to get into. I am pretty fired up about the Alex Cobb signing for $15 million. I'll be the first one to admit it. When I seen that, I about spit water out of my mouth. I'm in a bad way. No, I'm fired up in a bad way. I'll emphasize that. How are you giving a guy that hasn't played in years a full season that much money? Today, this
just give it to Verlander.
Puts the icing on my chocolate cake. They gave Justin Verlander $15 million in San Francisco today. Yep. You gave Cobb $15 million based off of what?
You look like a joke.
Justin Verlander is a Hall of Famer. Yes, he's at the end of his highlighted career. Alex Cobb has nothing left in the tank. I feel like Justin Verlander comes here and he gets put behind Tarek Skubal. He finds a second, third win.
Yep.
He wins 12, 13 games, has an ERA below 4. I feel like you can basically give him another year or two.
Big mistake.
And I really would love to be a fly on the wall at the Tigers front office. Is Justin Verlander does he just don't want to come back? Or is it really the Tigers just saying, we don't want you back? Like, I really would love to know anybody's feedback on this. Like, how are you not approaching
issue? Right.
It might be like, what has Justin Verlander done? Oh gosh, that's an awful picture.
Awful.
I was like, oh, I got to do this. Like, what was the point when you shared that story, Steve? Yesterday, I was like, what the hell is he doing?
I know. What's
it's a pointless move.
Yeah.
41 years old. Gonna be 41 years old.
I'm mad. I didn't realize they signed for the same amount of money, Danny, until you said that. Now
that's a great hot take. Yeah.
Like Alex Cobb was literally
more credibility for Justin Verlander.
Alex Cobb was literally quoted as like, I was going to retire, but they offered me $50 million.
Yes.
I'm like, I gotta play. He's like, he's a burnout. He's a burnout.
Yes. Yeah, it's a sellout move for Verlander.
And let's face it, do you really think he's going to start 10 games for the Tigers next season? No, he's going to be on IR at spring training.
But would Justin Verlander be the same? I mean, he is older.
But here's the thing:
there's more credibility for Verlander.
More, yeah. There's leadership there.
Better value. Better value.
There's value there. He's like a fourth, fifth coach on your bench. You know, it doesn't matter. And like Danny said, if he found his little coming in behind Skubal, I mean, who's to say he can't win 10 or 11 games? You know,
right?
It's just about being present. I think the energy of being back home. It kind of hurts to talk about now. And then you have your whole other issue with Bergman. It's like, is it the problem
really
Chris Ilitch?
In a tailspin?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
what are your priorities if you're Chris Ilitch?
Yeah.
You know?
So you have
unless behind closed doors. I mean, what's behind closed doors?
Right.
We're never gonna
That's what I want to know is like, did we pursue JV?
Him and AJ
did we
Hinch,
pursue him?
Is there a problem with Hinch and Verlander? Maybe, or the pitching coach?
I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think so. But I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, were they banging trash cans together in Houston? I mean,
he coached him in Houston, right?
Maybe he was. There. Maybe they went off bad. I don't know. Maybe Verlander blamed them. We don't know how that relationship ended, honestly.
You don't, because there's so many little what if factors and things behind closed doors that happen in Houston that you're never going to hear about until maybe Verlander hangs it up and writes a book or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just have a hard time stomaching it. And maybe I'm digging too deep. Because Justin Verlander was my Tiger for so many years. I know he was a lot of your guys too. It's very hard to say Justin Verlander, he's got a huge ego and yes, he's all that. But Justin Verlander put Detroit back on the map, in my opinion. Justin Verlander and Miguel Cabrera. Yes, Miguel Cabrera's done, and he had kind of a last couple of years of just kind of regression and pain and just awful at bats, but you still love the guy. And it's hard for me to not cheer for Justin Verlander when he comes to town, or if you see him on ESPN or another game. I can't.
But I will say this:
not offering him a deal.
Well, that's the key thing, Danny, is like, we need to know, we need this to be public. Did the Tigers even reach out? Did Ilitch attempt to reach out? Scott Harris, to Justin Verlander and his camp, because if Verlander just completely bypassed the Tigers, because there was chirping that Verlander possibly wanted to sign with the Tigers in his final season for 1 year and retire a Tiger, which I believe that wholeheartedly. So if the Tigers, who am I going to be more pissed off at, Justin Verlander or the Tigers front office for not even pursuing Verlander for a 1 year deal? They don't want to see none of these guys to term. They don't want to sign no terms, nothing over 1 or 2 year deals. It's Alex Cobb, or that's it. I mean, and we haven't even talked about Gleyber Torres, but at the same time, that can't be the only move you make from a regular season that showed, you were bottom tier for 75% of the season. You were a bottom tier team. You made this late season run. You got all the way to the ALDS, and obviously the rest is history. So the expectations, we talked about this last show, were very, very much higher than they would have been had you not even made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
it would have been an awesome signing.
To miss out on Justin Verlander, it would have just literally been like the final piece of that puzzle. Not that he would have made our team night and day better, but just having that presence, the presence of Justin Verlander.
But honestly, if you think about it, Chris Hillage, you bonehead, you idiot, imagine the fans you bring in, you moron.
Yeah. Yep.
Why don't you think like an owner? If you really are trying to save money and make money, you idiot, you signed Alex Cobb, snooze fest. That's going to last 3 innings or 4 innings a game, and he's not exciting.
Terrible value.
Come back and you sign a hometown hero in Justin Verlander, a guy that started with your franchise and is ending his career with you. Imagine the buzz around that stadium.
You wouldn't have to sell new jerseys. Tons of people.
I'm even more mad now.
Yeah.
Danny, thank you. Now I got to go to bed mad.
Damn it. Go Lions.
And it's like, you're kind of questioning ownership a little bit at this point, because
we
it's
have
like,
been.
Okay,
we have been.
Yeah, we have been. And it's like, if you want to stay focused on the Wings, fine, then do that. Please just sell the Tigers. Sell it to someone who is passionate, because you guys got other owners out there that are willing to spend, and there's no cap. There's no cap in baseball. It's gotten insane. You see some of these contracts, and it's like, if you want to be competitive,
you got to spend money, man.
Look at the teams that are going to the World Series now. You have super teams now. So you had the Yankees and Dodgers.
Yeah. It's the like, NBA. NBA
2.0. You're gonna see that more, unfortunately, because there's unlimited cap right now. And unfortunately, if we don't sign Bergman, I can see us not competing for even a playoff. What says we would?
I mean, the expectation going into the season was the division. I mean, it was like.
But here's a priority. It's signing, re-signing Skubal.
Yeah.
Number one priority.
Why has that not been done?
What the F are you doing, Scott Harris? And really offering Bergman a contract here that's appealing, and sell our team. Mm-hmm. Sell Bergman what we have. We have his the former leadership in Hinch. We have a good up and coming team. You would be the driving force in our guy here.
You'd be the star here. You'd be the big
name. Sell him us.
Yes.
Those are the top 2 priorities. And if that doesn't happen, I think you kind of have to hold your head down and hope for the best, because you have, at this point, you have Torres playing second, Colt Keefe shifting to first. Mm-hmm. You at third, do you still have Verling? You'll have
McKinstry is going to be playing your bench,
who are gritty. Those are those gritty players,
but
that
they're not
barely 200,
they're not notable.
And they have clutch hits every now and then.
But
they are not consistent like a Bergman. So that's your missing piece in third base. And if you don't have a strong third baseman, like we did back in with Cabrera's heyday, we had a Hall of Fame third baseman. Mm-hmm. Open up your mind, like, duh, dude. So we're not going to do anything without that. So it's really. This is like the punch in the stomach with Verlander. It's kind of like that was going to be kind of your mentor on the bench, horizon of his career, or sunset of his career, and it's a shame. It really does suck that he's going to be on the Giants, which is like what? And
taboo.
we have Alex Cobb.
Yeah, the team that beat you in the World Series.
Yeah, like that. But anyways. We'll see in the coming weeks here, coming months. I have Ben Verlander tweeting, it would be a good day to sign Alex Bergman, Tigers.
Yeah, thanks.
Ben, why don't you talk to your big brother? Yeah, Ben. Yeah. Why don't you talk to your big brother, and tell him to come back to Detroit, you idiot? But
not a good look.
We'll see. Hey, maybe they will. Maybe they will. We're one of the top teams with the Blue Jays. Like Danny said, why would you go to the Blue Jays? With
Sure.
the Tigers are on the rise, they're up and coming. We have Skubal, and we have Alex Cobb, right?
We need a household name player.
We got to sign Jack Flaherty, right?
Oh goodness.
What do you think? Jack Flaherty's
They're
a top
looking
of
at
coming
that.
guy for the Tigers.
They're looking at Flaherty.
I think you really need to talk to him
I'd love
very
to.
hard.
I'd love to bring
get
him
him
back.
back in Detroit.
But his
He
price
played
tag has
for
gone
us.
up. Since he played for us, his
I know.
price tag is going to go up.
Pay the guy. Give him a 3-year. Well, it's tough with him because you're either going to have to pay him a lot in a short amount of time or pay him, like a 3-year deal, which is long. I know he's toward the tail end of his career and he's injury prone, but with a 3-year, you can maybe give him a little bit less than you would a 1 or a 2-year deal. So
right.
I think Chris Ilitch has to open up the wallet a little bit, or we're going to be sitting here kind of hoping for the magic wand to happen again like last season and hope we make a magical run here and Hinch somehow manages our bullpen to a T.
But even as we have it set right now, I don't like really
don't see
team. I don't like what we have. Like I said, I'm
it's
going to
just
see this
not
countless
sustainable.
times again.
It's not.
It's not sustainable. It was timely pitching, timely hitting at the end of the season last year that got you to where you were. Yes, it exceeds expectations for the 2025 season, but you still have to improve on the team that you had last year. The pitching is good. The pitching is very, very solid, but this is an offensive game. Pitching is not as notable as it used to be. This is still an offensive game. People are scoring runs. This team, you cannot make the playoffs averaging 3 to 4 runs a game. You just can't do it. It ain't going to happen. So we need to get that third baseman. We got to get a household name. You got to get rid of Torque. If you're not, stop jerking him around at first base.
Well,
you got to move him out.
Because you're moving Colt Keith to first.
Yep.
So essentially, you're saying Torque, you might be on the bench, but you might DH some, but it's pretty much writings on the wall. Unfortunately, Torkelson wrote his demise. So I don't know. Maybe he'll wake up here a little bit in spring training in April and show us he can be in the lineup and be DH. But yeah, you're shifting Keith to first, and then you have your outfield pretty set, and then you have Torres at second. And so what? And then you have Sweeney at short. So what do you do with the Baez situation? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to cut him?
Here, I'll throw something at you guys. Remember this. When he came. Remember when he came in and he got drafted? What position did Torque play? Third base. He was drafted as a third baseman. So maybe they're going to give him some reps in spring camp and see how he does at third base. But he's kind of a bigger, stockier guy. I don't think maybe that's why they moved him to first. And now he can't hit.
Yeah.
So they're like, what are we going to do with you? I don't know if they're going to try him at third base or if he's just going to be like a utility player that comes off the bench.
I think so. Like a Don Kelly. He's going to become a Don Kelly.
But I mean, a first round bust. I mean, it's hard to say. I hate saying it's a bust after just a very short time. But either you send him down into Toledo and hope he finds something, and if not,
again,
I hate to say give up on the guy, but the big concern is right now, as we touched on, is finding that key bat in the lineup and solidifying the rotation. Because one more thing I wanted to touch on, I don't know if we're getting ready to close this segment or not, but Skubal was fantastic. Best pitcher in baseball last year. You cannot expect him to do that again this year. You cannot expect him every single start to give you 6 or 7, strike out 10. I'm sorry, it's just not logical. It's just not going to happen. He's going to be great, but he's not going to give you those games every single time. You cannot expect that every 5th day again. You just can't.
Yeah. No, it's not sustainable. And again, like this was a breakout year for Skubal, but it is a small sample size. Do I think he's an elite pitcher? It's hard to tell. Not after 1 year. I can't label him elite. He was elite this year. He won a Cy Young. Yeah.
Triple crown.
He's a very I would say an elite pitcher. I think he's not going to be the same like Danny said, but he's still a guy that's going to be similar to a Corbin Burns. And get blown out a few games, but still consistently put up 2-3 runs earned. And I think he can rock around a 3, low 3, high 2 ERA and pick up 15 wins consistently for us. And that's who you want on your team. And that's who you need to sign. That should be your number one priority. And I don't care what it costs, because if you lose him, you lose your rotation.
You lose your future.
And you literally have nothing. Literally have nothing. So Chris Ilitch needs to open up.
I really
the wall,
you're right. He's your franchise. You cannot afford to lose your franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, he put butts in seats last year. Every fifth day, you were finding a way to go to the ballpark or flip on, I hate to say this word, Bally Sports.
Because
you wanted to watch
FanDuel Sports
now.
Detroit. FanDuel Sports Detroit.
Yes,
But yeah,
I know it got changed,
and
but we all were.
and you can
loving
argue he was the our playoff leader, taking gains for us, because without him, we would be lost. We wouldn't be anything without Scooble. So we had to bow down. We had to pay him, pay the man, pay Boris. I know it's going to suck. I know it's going to eat most of our budget, but like you said, you just can't. You won't be the same without him, unfortunately.
No.
So,
well, look at it. I mean, take away 17, 18 wins right there off the rip.
Right.
I mean, you get him off your team because, like Broker said, after you get rid of Scooble, you have nothing in your pen. You have nothing in your rotation. We still have no idea, what some of these young guys are going to be doing next year. And if you're going to have the same kind of bullpen as you did. I mean, that bullpen was playing lights out the last month of the season and into the playoffs as well. But like you said, as you start to see the same guys do pitching by committee, seeing these bullpen pitchers, you're seeing 5-6 pitchers a game. You're going to get these guys cooked. You're going to see the same thing, and you're going to be able to adjust and hit off of these guys. And that's what happened and why we ultimately got eliminated in the playoffs. So it ain't sustainable. You got to have 4 to 5 good starters in your rotation. You have to have 2 that are notable names, and Flaherty would be a great piece to put back in here, but you can't sign him to a 1-year rental player deal. You have to get him in here for 3 to 4 years. Got to do it. You got to sign term.
Yeah.
You got to do term deals.
Right. At this point,
he's gonna want that. He's gonna want term. So if you think about what is realistic for next season, Scooble, Flaherty, Job, Justin Verlander,
Jackson Job. I don't think he'll be starting.
Justin Verlander. How nice would it be to say you have a 4 or 5 guy at Justin Verlander?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. I would take that. Justin Verlander is your 4th man in your rotation.
Sorry, excuse my French, but
now you're
Danny. You hit your over under.
And who is the Tiger?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
That was you said 2. That's 2.
Oh, 2.
2 F-bombs for Steve. Gotta love it.
Sorry, kids.
Corbin Burns would have been that. Corbin Burns and Scoob would have been fire as a 1-2 punch. I mean, and we have the money. That's what sickens me is that you're seeing these guys go for 6 years, $250 million plus. I mean, we have the cap space and then some to do this. Why are we so afraid to pull the trigger? I mean, I'm not saying do this to a guy that's 32, 33 years old, but we're talking guys that are in their mid-20s, late 20s in their prime that are going to earn that deal. Those are going to be 5 years, 6 years. They're going to earn their keep. They're still going to be hitting that ceiling in that deal. So I don't understand what Illich is wanting to do with this. Why he's only doing 1 or 2 year deals and not doing term contracts is beyond me.
The fear, like Steve said, the term, and I think
you're not going to be locking yourself down.
I think he sees Javier Baez contract in the back of his nightmares.
Yeah,
and he's
the
just
nightmare.
Like, oh no,
right.
we ain't doing that again. Because Javier Baez
wasn't that good when we signed him.
That's going to eat you.
We all
his
knew
better
that.
years were behind him.
You signed him. You knew that he wasn't fantastic, and you still signed him. And Carlos Correa, I mean, everybody wanted him here, and you see how he performs. I mean, he's not Carlos Correa with the Houston Astros. He's Carlos Correa that's
he's frozen up there in Minnesota. Yeah.
But he still had a good year in Minnesota.
Yeah, so.
But I probably had the similar year with the Tigers. I mean, I'm not saying if we had Correa, we would have went to the World Series, but I mean, we would at least have a house.
Would have been better off. Yeah.
Right. But
man.
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions with the Tigers still, guys.
I mean, and what worries me is that we're already into January. Usually this is when teams are shoring up their rosters. They've made their trades. They've made their free agent signings. And yeah, we have Stanlander. We still have obviously Bregman that hasn't been signed yet, but their contracts are going to be coming down because teams are not going to want to pay. They're not going to want to pay what he initially was asking. So his contract value will come down here over the course of the next few weeks, which should help the Tigers.
Yeah.
If they're so damn chicken shit to spend money,
they got to sign him.
If we don't sign him within the next probably 2 weeks, I would say it's dead in the water.
Yeah,
you can't go into.
What's going to be even funnier is, what's going to be funny is when Bregman signs a deal with some team that you're like, what? The Angels? Or some team that comes out of the woodwork that gives him $260 million.
Las Vegas A's.
Or this is what happens sometimes with our shows. If you've ever caught on our shows, he'll sign tomorrow.
Oh yeah, right after we have our live show, the day after we have our show. Yeah,
9 a.m. 9 a.m. tomorrow.
We'll break that one on our Facebook page. Breaking news.
Another one.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All right, I'm
makes
over
you pull
it.
your hair out. Anyways, but no, I mean the Tigers obviously will when we have our next show. Hopefully, we have better news to report on the free agent signing / trades, and maybe we'll be more of a playoff team on paper than we are looking right now. But real quick, I want to close out with college basketball. Michigan Wolverines, Michigan State Spartans. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that these two teams would be number 1 and number 2 in the Big Ten?
They are what?
Michigan right now is 12-3, along with Michigan State. Michigan has won. Well, they've won 3 in a row. They just beat UCLA last night handedly. Man. It was like 97-65 or something. They had a couple rough losses back to back in the tournament, but yeah, they're definitely firing all cylinders. The Spartans
Wake
are playing
me up
Spartans.
In March.
But yeah, March Madness right around the corner.
I'm sorry, Derek. I do not watch college basketball until March.
I've actually been watching more of it now because Michigan's been doing good.
And are you kidding me?
I have been. I'll be honest.
Are you serious?
Dusty and Brian knows Dusty.
No way.
Hey, guess what? Another head coaching change. Look what it does to your friend.
Yep.
Oh man, I don't know. I need proof. I need like Rachel to send me a Snapchat or something of that.
Yeah.
Of you watching college basketball.
I'll have to tune into Michigan.
Oh,
I haven't really watched.
Michigan's on the map. Yeah.
Right.
Look, everybody's popping off about Michigan.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. You got to get these guys back on the bandwagon.
Give him his due.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Like I'm all blue all the way, but
you're feeling blue, I guess, right now.
College basketball.
Jeez.
I guess I am. I just don't like college.
No, yeah, I'm not.
I gotta be.
I'm really not a consistent. I'm the same way.
But hey, college basketball, it's on cable. You don't have to pay a streaming service to watch it.
Oh, true.
That is true.
But
but pretty soon, it's going to be on Peacock Premium.
It was on Peacock the other night. I will say it was on Peacock.
Exactly. I mean, everything's going to be on streaming soon enough. Let's face it.
Brian's going to be courtside at Oregon. Look at that.
Where was my friend?
I mean, that's cool. I mean,
that's
awesome. I will say, I would definitely go, but
yeah. Tickets are pretty cheap. I actually went last year with a buddy at work. He actually had a spare ticket. I went to the Chrysler Center.
And they have beer now, right? You can buy beer now, right?
Yeah, you can buy beer.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do a trip.
Let's do a road trip.
Good. I mean, I don't.
Road trip to Oregon.
I've never been, so it'd be fun.
I have not either.
Let's go to a Broker's game. When do they play? Oregon?
I think he's going Friday, right?
They're going to Oregon.
No, it's too late for me.
The only college game I've been to is obviously the Big House, and I've been to Yost for Michigan hockey.
Okay.
I've never been to, fortunately, never been to a college basketball game.
Okay.
But,
shit.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't go and I wouldn't be interested because
right,
when you go to a live sporting event, I mean, even if like when me and Derek went to NASCAR a couple years ago, and that was like, man, I was stoked about going to NASCAR, and Derek is a lot bigger NASCAR fan.
Yeah.
And I was stoked to go to anything.
The NASCAR race
sport. Come on, how are you not excited to go? You got to be amped.
Yeah, the NASCAR race that we went to, MIS. Obviously, the racing's not always the most exciting, but it was fun.
Shit.
Look out!
There you go.
DSD shirt. Well, I think we still have. Danny, where's
any merch? Get some merch.
Where's the original D&D shirts? We got to get a new logo shirt. Yeah,
we need to throw it out there to the fans.
Yep.
I do see Kerry Parton. A shout out to Kerry Parton. He wears that on GC community chat shows. Maybe tomorrow night he'll be wearing one.
Yeah, I forgot to slip mine on. I still got mine in my closet. I trust me, I had to dig it out. I just forgot to put it on tonight. But yeah, the OG D&D sports chat shirts still in rotation.
We can look into creating some merch. I know we all got leases, right? So the stickers on the cars and all that good stuff's a good idea.
I own.
Yeah, smart man you are.
Yeah,
smart man. Brian, it might be a little too big on you.
Yeah, might be a sleep shirt.
That's all I need, Danny's though. Shirt. It's sleep shirt. Yeah.
It's a dust. Is it a dust rag or is it a sleep shirt, Danny?
for me right now, it's still around. I think it's in my collection of.
This is how I look when I tell my kids to go to bed.
Yes.
Go to bed.
Damn it.
Now.
Rude.
Yeah, that is exactly what you say.
Or when that guy really turned it around.
Where it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, first year head coach Dusty May. Yeah, so
good to see. I'll have to check it out in March for sure.
Mm-hmm. March Madness is going to actually be worth watching, at least from the Homer standpoint. So, But hey, guys,
we're almost
it's been fun.
The 2-hour mark. But
oh shit,
watch Raw on Netflix. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Oh boy, I knew that was coming.
I'm sorry. I mean, we might as well go another 5 minutes. But anywho,
what is it?
Raw on Netflix.
Raw on
Steve
Netflix.
gave it a couple minutes. I skipped around. I watched it. It was okay. I'm sure Broker.
I gotta give it. Come on. You watched at least highlights of it.
Yeah,
Steve. All over Facebook and
no, the opening was good. I liked the opening, but I feel like
bits and pieces.
A 3.5-hour show with only 4 wrestling matches is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
the best match of the night was what? Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, or
Punk and Rollins,
or what?
Tribal
or
combat.
Are you looking at the tribal combat with Roman and?
I thought that was my favorite match. I watched that all the way. I watched highlights of Seth and Punk, but it did overtake Squid Games. It overtook Squid Games, so that's a pretty big deal. But it's also being broadcast.
I did watch that as well.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, WWE. So they got to work out. I know this is our famous words, Derek, but they need to work out the kinks a little bit with the dead air. All of a sudden, they'll be talking, and we're gonna go to Jackie Redmond with
CM Punk live at ringside,
and there's dead air, and it's like, okay.
Those interviews are very cringe when they try to make them into like football sideline interviews with the wrestlers after the match, and they're all like when she was interviewing Punk after the match, I'm like, can they just end this right now? It's so cringe. But yes, Brian, I got to agree with you. That was probably the highlight, and Steve, you can agree with this. Hulk Hogan getting his ass booed off the show. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, so cringe.
It really
it was great. Let's face it, he's all there just to sell that crappy beer that no one's going to drink.
Well, Steve, we had that beer. Do you remember when we were in Roscommon at the Rocktoberfest?
It's a Miller Lite.
A small Rocktoberfest in Roscommon was actually selling Hulk Hogan's beer, and it's a ripoff of Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR. It looks just like PBR.
Of course it is.
It tastes just like it too.
Yeah,
that's the new thing I feel like for WWE is to get in with drinks. You got the rocks, you got Terramina, which I have that. That's pretty good. I've tried that. You got Logan Paul's energy drinks. The C4 is the official sponsor of WWE. Cody Rhodes is that, what is it, whiskey?
Yeah, I think so.
The American brand. WWE is all about the alcohol now, and energy drinks. It's different. Yeah. It's all about the sponsors. And let's throw some other random ads on the ring. How do you guys feel about ads on the ring? Is this like a UFC fight? All the logos
doesn't surprise me.
I think it's because it is Netflix, and I think because I think are getting more sponsorship. That's because now they are worldwide. They're not just mainstream on the national networks. I think a lot of that has to do with the sponsorships that maybe even Netflix has with their marketing team. So
why not branch out?
The Rock has good whitewash. Get yourself smelling fresh. That's right.
Yeah, the Target, the Papatua. I have the lotion. Papatua, it's called. Oh yes, play Hulk Hogan.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Hulk Hogan met with a chorus of boos from pro wrestling's biggest fans.
You, the fans, have been my greatest tag team partner because you guys have stuck with me through thick and thin, dudes. Hulkamania will live forever, man.
But in 2025, the Hulkster's more heel than hero inside the packed Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. As Monday Night Raw debuts on Netflix with WWE Star Power.
Yeah, all right. That's enough of the cheap plug.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah. I'm over them for sure.
I just want to get that last thing in there. That was amazing.
It's annoying.
I'm
the same old tired stick for the last 40 years. Oh, I'm tired. But a lot of people are.
I would have rather seen Tiffany Stratton get some airtime or something. That
would have been great. Too bad she's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah. For any honestly, male, she was there.
A lot of people are saying that it is because of Hulk Hogan's political affiliation with Donald Trump is why he got booed. But Undertaker got a hell of an ovation, and he's Republican. So I think it is more so with Hulk Hogan's.
It's not
overplayed. It's played out.
Yeah, I don't think it's all about who you voted for or who
Yeah.
you supported
No.
politically. I think it's more or
Yeah.
less just because people are like, okay, we know you're here just because of your beer. That's
Right.
all you're here for. You're just
Yeah,
wanna
when you saw
promote
his
something
logo,
on.
when I heard Hulk Hogan was going to be there and his beer was on the actual mat of the ring as a sponsor, I'm like, oh yeah, he's coming out here to promote his stupid ass beer. And sure
Yeah.
enough, he had the shirt
It's
on.
tired. It's a tired stick. Like, get
It
out of
is.
here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hulkamania has
yeah.
been dead for years. You need to just stop coming back for a cheap cash grab.
Yeah.
Exactly. He got
Yeah.
a couple mil, right, to come back. Netflix was
Right.
like, we need another big star. The Rock is not big enough, but John Cena's going to be there too. So why not add Hulk Hogan? We need
Yeah.
all eras. We need to get people from the 70s and 80s to tune in too. So let's get Hulk Hogan. And then you'll never see Hulk Hogan again because he got booted out of the building. Yay.
Yeah, I think they'll learn their lesson next time.
But
on
John
that one.
Cena. But John Cena, I mean, the farewell tour is up and running. I'm excited
That's
for
going to be
that.
a full year for that, so that should be good. A lot of possibilities, a lot of good matches that could be, on the horizon for him. CM Punk, Randy Orton, Gunther. I mean, the sky's the limit for Cena, so I think he'll have a good farewell tour. But yeah, it should be a good year for him.
I just want good quality products. WWE has been very good lately. I know the person that probably watches it the most is Chris, and he's very vocal about it, and he watches all kinds of wrestling, even more than I do. Because
He's probably in bed right now.
Unfortunately, yeah, he probably is. But it's hard for me to watch like 6 hours, 7 hours of wrestling.
Yeah,
like
I can't do it.
It really is.
can't.
But like now, Raw being on Netflix, I think it's easier and more accessible, so you can just kind of flip through. So that'll be easy for the casual viewer and also the viewer like me who does really enjoy the product but doesn't exactly want to watch every bit.
And have you noticed it's not getting a lot of like panning because it's not on cable television anymore? But like 95% of people have Netflix, so it's easy to just like switch it on. And I feel like it's like you said, it's a lot easier attainable to find, and it has a whole library on there now. Everything is in one place because the network was on Peacock. Then you would have to watch Raw and SmackDown on USA, and now it's all in one home. So I kind of do like how it's consolidated.
Yeah, I think it makes it easier for someone like Steve, who's like a casual viewer that maybe watches it just for like us to talk with us or just to watch something that might be interesting. Like it's easy for like a Steve or someone else who's like on that spectrum of wanting to watch it, but don't want to watch 3 hours of wrestling. I know it's painful. I know 3 hours of watching wrestling is painful. So, I mean,
to the casual viewer, absolutely. Even to a wrestling fan, unless you're a diehard.
Yeah,
but no, it was okay. Like I said, I gave it probably a B or B minus for the first show on Netflix. But after that show, it's all gonna just
the behind the scenes stuff was cheesy and the sound was bad. They got to work on a few things, I think.
Work out those kinks.
And then like the 3 matches or 4
matches in 3.5 hours.
Like, it's hard to drag on a show like that. But
and like you said, with no commercials, the dead air too is kind of
it'll get better. I feel like.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. All right, guys.
It will.
Other than that,
glamour.
Yep.
So yeah, we got Go Lions obviously in 2 weeks, and who knows? Maybe we'll actually do a show maybe that week after. Maybe if they're in the playoffs long enough, we'll do a show after every week.
Yeah, we'll guide the way. Right.
But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the new year. Again, happy 2025, everybody. And we finished just under 2 hours here. So on behalf of myself, Dan, and Steve, we're going to call this one a podcast. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Take care, guys. Happy New Year.